The courtroom was cold, not just from the air conditioning but from the chill of endings. Sarah sat alone at a long, polished table, her hands folded in her lap. Across the room, her husband Mark smirked, whispering to his lawyer. The lawyer laughed, a sound that echoed with confidence. Sarah felt the weight of every eye in the room. They saw a woman alone, about to lose everything. Mark's confidence filled the space, suffocating.
Couldn't afford a real lawyer, Sarah?
He had taunted her in the hallway, reminding her of her supposed helplessness. He believed he held all the cards, the business records, the car titles, the narrative he'd crafted. He saw her silence as defeat, her stillness as surrender.
I just kept my eyes on the judge's chair. I was thinking of Leo, his small hand in mine, his laughter in our apartment.
Mark wanted to take that too. The roof over their heads, the ground beneath their feet. The world saw a victim, but in her silence was a story they could not read. The court clerk's voice cut through the tension, announcing the judge. People shuffled to their feet. The air grew heavier. For Sarah, it felt like the final moments before a storm. Mark's lawyer arranged his papers, certain of victory. Sarah simply took a deep breath. She did not look back at the heavy wooden doors. She knew that help was not a matter of if, but when. Sometimes, the most powerful moments arrive in the quietest of ways. The whispers followed Sarah everywhere, in the hallways, in the gallery. They said she had no one, that she'd already lost. Strangers saw a woman in a simple dress, a man in an expensive suit. Sarah's silence was her only shield. She let the whispers wash over her, holding on to a mother's resolve. The room held its breath, waiting for the inevitable. But sometimes, the whispers are wrong. Their life together was now just a stack of papers. It began with a dream, a small cafe, built from scratch. But success changed things. The cafe became his, the dream, his achievement. Sarah was erased from Mark's story. He wanted everything, the business, the car, even custody of Leo. But Sarah listened, unflinching, her quiet strength anchoring her in a sea of lies. Sometimes, the quietest person in the room is the one who changes everything. Just as Mark's lawyer reached his peak, a sound broke the courtroom's spell, the heavy oak doors opening. Every head turned. Mark and his lawyer paused, annoyed. The judge looked up, brow furrowed.
For the first time that morning, I allowed a small, almost invisible smile. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to.
In the doorway stood a woman, silver hair, elegant suit, energy that defied age. She walked with purpose, each step shifting the balance of power. The whispers died, replaced by curiosity. She walked down the aisle, gaze locked on the judge, carrying a worn leather briefcase.
Thinking, Mark's smirk faltered. He didn't recognize her. He had no idea he was looking at the architect of his downfall.
The woman stopped beside Sarah, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, then faced the judge.
Your Honor, my apologies for my late arrival. There was a matter of evidence that needed my personal attention. I am Eleanor Vance, and I am here to represent my daughter, Sarah Vance.
A gasp rippled through the courtroom. Eleanor Vance. The name was legendary. Mark's face went white. The room was no longer his. The tide had turned. The courtroom transformed. The air crackled with anticipation. Eleanor Vance began not with accusations, but with quiet, precise questions.
Mr. Peterson, you claim the cafe was your sole venture. Is that correct?
Yes.
Eleanor opened her briefcase.
Then, perhaps you can explain these. My daughter's original recipe books, dated 2 years before you met her.
The truth emerged in a steady, undeniable stream. Eleanor presented bank statements showing Sarah's initial investment, emails where Mark praised Sarah's business acumen, affidavits from employees naming Sarah as the true manager. The most damning evidence came last.
Mr. Peterson, you claim my daughter is an unfit mother, that she is unstable.
She played a recording. Mark bragging about crushing Sarah in court, hiding assets and lying on the stand. The voice was cruel, arrogant, devoid of love. The silence that followed was absolute.
Thinking, Mark sat frozen, his face a mask of disbelief and horror.
His lies had been dismantled, brick by brick. His lawyer looked away, the judge's expression hardened. The whispers and pity were gone. All that remained was the clarity of truth. The room had shifted. Justice was no longer a distant hope. The shift in the room was more than legal. It was emotional. The eyes that once pitied Sarah now saw a survivor.
I looked at my mother, who gave me a small, reassuring nod. For the first time in months, I could breathe again.
The cold had vanished, replaced by the warmth of justice. Mark's overconfidence shattered, leaving only panic.
Thinking. He looked for an ally, but found only condemnation. He saw his future as a ruin.
The judge's ruling was swift and decisive, a moral statement.
I hereby award Sarah Vance full ownership of the cafe, the car, and sole custody of her son, Leo. Mr. Peterson, your actions will not go unpunished. I am ordering a separate investigation.
The gavel came down, a life given back. As people filed out, Sarah remained seated.
Tears streamed down my face, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of release, of gratitude, of love.
Eleanor wrapped her arms around her daughter. In that embrace, there was no need for words. The verdict had been delivered by the court, but the true victory was one of the heart. The storm had passed. The story of that day became a quiet legend in the courthouse. Mark had seen Sarah's silence and heard only emptiness, not realizing her stillness was a reservoir of strength. The world often confuses the loudest voice with the most important one.
My story is a reminder that true strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it waits patiently, knowing a lie will collapse under its own weight.
Her life after that day was a quiet blossoming. The cafe thrived, a reflection of her spirit. Leo grew up surrounded by love and honesty. Sarah never spoke of Mark with bitterness. She simply moved forward, her quiet strength now visible to all. She had faced the worst of storms and had not been broken. She learned the world could be noisy and cruel, but you don't have to add to the noise to be heard. There is a lesson in the way the courtroom fell silent when Eleanor spoke, and again when Mark's lies were exposed. Silence is not an absence of power, but often the container for it. The world may mock the silent, but it is the silent who are often listening the hardest, seeing the clearest, and preparing to speak the one truth that will change everything.
The quietest people have the loudest minds, and the deepest hearts hold the most unshakable strength.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.